And so the first people that died was these right here. And so this grave here we suspect is the oldest one. That's a child of Joseph. And I have no documentation that this person ever existed. But some old women that never married but was well into genealogy. They were educated women. They did a lot of research on the family. They said all the old timers said there was a Benjamin. So we put Benjamin up a rock, jump in a creek, and we put the about 1823 based on some other oral history, but we really don't know if he even existed or not. But there was a rock here. It had to be somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then William died. This was Joseph's oldest son. He died young. He married a Lee woman. They had this one child, William Jr., which died young. He died in 1863. So I jump a creek and say, connected with the Civil War, but I can't find no military records where he served, so he must have just been killed extraneously to the actual service. These were just limestone rocks. Then we bought a little marble tombstone and put here. And then I come across these sandstone rocks, and I said, we can't have that marble here for 1823, you know. They didn't have marble back then that they mined. So we put these rocks up. We think the sandstone looks much better than the other things. Yeah. So these were the first three graves in this cemetery. Then Joseph, being the patriarch, his first wife dies. This is her grave here, Rachel Carter. And then he remarries another woman, Mary, Polly, and then he dies in 1854. So his is the fifth grave. So you got to imagine 1854, these are the graves we have, 5 of them right here. And his second wife dies. So she's there. Now then, we come down to the next generation, Joseph's son, Francis Marion, which we are all just about, I think, descended from, maybe all. This Francis Marion here, but before Francis Marion died, he has at least one kid. And the only thing we know about this, Jim, I don't know if I've ever told you this. So in an affidavit that Sarah was making for another person to attest as to when this child was born, she says, I know that was the date because my child was born 2 months earlier in the year the war started. So I said, okay, that's August 1861. No other record of this kid. So we put that tombstone up here. We think this is another infant child of Francis Marion and Sarah. One interesting thing, though, is in the 1900 census where they say number of children born and the number of children alive, it conflicts because Sarah said, I've had 10, they're all alive. So, you know, this one was, I don't know, why did she say that? Why would she not say I've had 12 and 10 are alive? I don't know. But they told the government, just like we do today, they told the government whatever they wanted them to know. And so, even when you get a government document, you can't say, oh, that's a fact. You know, it's a fact that somebody told the government official that. So anyway, then Francis Marion, he dies, and his wife, Sarah Richardson, who lived just up the creek here, the next homestead, she's the last of them living. And so we think that she put up Joseph's rock and this rock because all the others have the death dates carved in it, but hers did not. So we said, okay, she wasn't dead. She must have put up the rocks. We have since then put her death date in there.
Now, the triangle top means they fought for the Union, right?
These are not military stones.
Okay.
No, the stones, the military is about this size here. They'll be shaped 2 different ways. They'll be curved or pointed. Pointed is Confederates and rounded is Union. So you can look at a graveyard from a distance and So down here, you know, nobody ever leaves any flowers at this one. This is mine and Grace's tombstone.
Really?
Huh?
You've got that?
Yeah, we got our tombstone up. We'll show you our coffins when we go back up. They're already made. But that goes down to a cave. And in the Civil War times, the Union, or the Confederate too, but they would try to come away from camp and check on their families. And so for Francis Marion, when he would come to check on his family, he couldn't lay down in the bed at night because the other side might find out he's there and break in on him. So he would sleep over here in this cave. He could look out across the creek and look at where his wife was at. And,
Somebody needs
You
to
can
write
see
a
the
book
cave
about
from
this.
better
I know, I
from
know
down
right
here,
here.
right?
Yeah, but you might die and take it with you.
his wife then divorces him. So I don't know if he was hiding his property or what he was. His wife divorces him. He remarries Amanda Martin, which lived just down the creek here. Now Amanda had been married to a Mitchell man and had one baby, and about the time she has the baby from the Mitchell man, he gets beat to death with a walking stick in Silver Point. Okay. Then she marries John Harrison Roberts. She gets pregnant. John gets shot and killed plowing corn.
Bad luck. We better live in Detroit, huh?
Okay. John's
We love taking for a good reason.
John's two wives have their babies. They both have a male child, and both of them name it John. What a man! Anyway, but I digress. Francis Marion, being a biblical man, he says, "Well, I've got to take care of my brother's widow," and so he went and raised up 3 kids with her, even though he was married to Sarah. And so those are where some of the people you know.
So he stayed with both wives?
No.
He didn't marry
okay.
Amanda. He
All
was
right.
he was just taking care of his brother's wife.
Okay.
She needed to be fed and cared for.